Hey guys, so we need to talk about a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. I've been watching him for a long time now, and he does a lot of stuff. He's an entrepreneur, he's into the shoe business, he's got a show called Ask Gary V, he's got his own media company, he's a public speaker, and does like motivational videos. Basically, if you ever wanted help starting a business and needed motivation and insight, this guy gives away everything for free basically, so you should check him out. But the reason why I'm talking about him today though, is that as I was looking into him and his past and just his kind of backstory, I find out that he actually came from Belarus, which is sort of near Russia. So I find myself looking at these old images from like 1905 and stuff like that, of kind of the area where he came from, and I come across this image here, and look on the far right there, you'll see, I'll even point it out for you here, that looks just like Gary V. Like, I'm certain that's him. Maybe it's like a great-grandfather of his or something like that, but I was certain that that looks exactly like him. So then I thought, okay, I'm gonna look more into the Vaynerchuk name and see what I can find. So I pull up his family name information, and I find this information here that says that people in the Vaynerchuk bloodline generally live longer than the general public. So as you can see here, this is from 2004, but it says that the average lifespan of a Vaynerchuk is 81 years, and the rest of the population is 74 years. What do Vaynerchuks have in their blood that makes them live longer? So I started thinking, could Gary V possibly be a vampire, which would explain why he was alive back in the early 1900s and why his bloodline seems to live longer. And I thought, well, that wouldn't make any sense because he would have to eat. How would he feed? What blood would he drink? You would notice people started dying around him all the time, unless he's been stockpiling blood since before there was social media, so nobody would know about it. And I thought, well, where would Gary V be able to hide a ton of red liquid where nobody would know? And then I remembered that he got his start with something called Wine Library TV, which was a wine show that he started under his family business, and they own a giant wine company full of bottles of red wine. So I thought, is he actually storing red wine, or is he storing blood to keep himself sustained? So I kept looking, and I come across this image from episode 1002. This is the most recent episode of Wine Library TV that he did. I paused it for a second because if you look here where he's about to spit in his spit bucket, look at the bucket. What do you see? It looks like a human hand. So I thought, okay, I need to check this out. I need to look further into this whole wine blood thing. Hey guys, so we are on the Wine Library website here. You can see Gary V on the front here, and then there's a little cartoon Gary holding what I'm hoping is a glass of red wine, but it could be blood, who knows. So we are going to order a bottle here and see if we get the wine or the blood like we think. So I'm going to search just a word that, if he's a vampire, a word, something evil. So we'll try Diablo here and see if that brings anything up. And yeah, there is a couple bottles here. These are some pretty good prices here. Some pretty spicy discounts. But we're going to go for the $9 bottle over the $85 bottle just because, as you can see, I'm eating ramen noodles and a conspiracy theorist salary isn't very high. So we're going to have to go for the $9 bottle here. But, okay, let's take a look here. Let's order this up. View card. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fill this out and order this bottle, and once it gets here, we will taste it and see if we get wine or blood. Okay, I'll see you soon. Hey guys, so we got our bottle of red wine shipped here, so we're going to go ahead and try this out and see if we got red wine or blood like we're expecting here. So just gonna pour that in. It's hard to tell. It could be either one, honestly, but we're gonna go ahead and try this out, and I'll let you know if it's wine or blood. It's definitely red wine. So guys, I should mention that I've never actually had red wine before, so I've got more of a tang palate, I would describe it as. But anyways, that was a bit of a dead end, unfortunately. However, that doesn't explain the following image, which was a little while ago. Gary was at a event where he was speaking live and answering questions, and usually when he answers questions, he's super nice and understanding of people's problems and just very helpful. But for some reason, somebody was asking him questions and he was getting a little bit frustrated, it seemed, and a little bit defensive, which is not like him at all, ever. But no one knows why that was. Well, I managed to find the footage of that, and I managed to zoom back to see who it was that he was getting so frustrated with. And here's that image here. So you can see as a vampire why he would be so defensive and have his back up against the wall. Now I've got more proof here. This is another live event that he was at, and if you can see on the floor there, a giant piece of lighting equipment fell from the ceiling and landed right on his head and didn't faze him at all. Like, this guy is definitely immortal, because that would kill any human being, but he just shook it off like it was nothing. And you can see by the audience, they all look like they're in disbelief over it. Now, the most shocking piece of evidence that I found is a painting, and I've got a picture of it here. This is an old Russian painting that I managed to find, but if you look in the top right corner, what do you see? I'll even zoom in for you a little bit here. And take a look. What is that? Pretty shocking stuff. So anyways, after gathering all these images, I started to do a bit of math, just do some equations to try and see if I can find anything else that stood out. And this is what I came across. So Gary Vaynerchuk has his own shoe line. It's a K-Swiss, and it's actually got his signature right on the tongue of the shoe. It's actually a very nice shoe, but that retails for $140. Now, Gary's Twitter currently has 172,000 tweets that he's sent out. So if you take 172 and subtract 140, the price of the shoe, it gives you 32. Now, I came across this video called 10 Rules of Success according to Gary Vaynerchuk. So if you take the 32 and subtract the 10, it gives you 22. And what is the 22nd letter of the alphabet? V, as in Gary V. Now, Gary V is sort of the nickname everyone calls him. Like I said, his name's Gary Vaynerchuk, but everyone calls him Gary V. And what do you think the letter V might stand for? You guessed it. Very likely not a human. So anyways, guys, I hope that this has been eye-opening to you. I'm still going to watch Gary V's videos because they're super helpful and just very motivational. But I just hope that those that are working close to him can be aware of this, because I don't know where he's getting his food from, and I would hate to see any of his employees disappear or something like that. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.